Hi, in this demo, I'm going to show you TreeVersity2, a tool for finding changes in datasets over time by looking at them as hierarchies. For this example, we are going to be using the National Cancer Institute's lung cancer-related death rates. That's a normalized index that they wanted to analyze from a dataset they have between 1997 and 2009. Here on the left side, we can see a timeline that shows that the rate has been constantly decreasing over years. Although between the years 1999 and 2000, there was an increase of 1 point in the rate, that it's a 0.78% increase. We keep on moving to the next years, we see that the overall rate is actually decreasing in rates that go in less than 2% increase. To add a little bit more information, we can add some of the attributes the dataset included, so we can build a tree that help us distinguish what has been happening on the rate across the years. For that, let's add, for instance, the race. By doing that, we will have a split in the dataset that will show us that in the top row, the overall change in the rate, and on the bottom row, we see that overall, the width of the boxes are telling us the population of each one of these races. So we see that overall the whites are like 80% of the populations, followed by blacks and then by others. Each one of the timelines on the left corresponds to one of the boxes on the stem view on the right. And we can see that the blacks population is the one that has the highest rate, followed by the whites, and then by the others in the races. We can keep on moving across the years, and we can see the changes in each one of those. So for instance, in here, between 2003 and 2004, we can see that the others are actually increasing. And we get that both because of the color that is showing us the actual amount of change, and because of the height of the box that are drawn from the middle point and up that shows the relative change. So for instance, here, the blacks are decreasing more in percentage of change with 1.77% decrease than the whites that are decreasing 1.51%. If we want to add more information to compare a little bit further, we can go to the hierarchy again and add, for instance, this gender. By doing that, we will have a new row that actually tell us the division by females and male of each one of the races. And that way we can explore a little bit further the different changes. To find an interesting one, let's move back to that increase we found before, between 1999 and 2000, where we can see that overall there was that increase of 1 point in the rate. This is interesting because if we look at the different changes by races, we see that both the blacks and the others are actually decreasing. So it seems that the rate increase has been due mainly to this increase of 1.5 in the whites. And then if we move forward and actually explore a little bit deeper into that, we can jump into the different races by clicking on them. And by doing that, we have a subtree that shows us the change between the white females and the male females. And we see that overall, that big increase is due to a 2.9 increase in the females, while actually for males, there was a decrease in the rate. That shows us some of the capabilities of TreeVersity, in which we can see the changes in the overall values and then identify also some leaf changes and compare them both to the siblings and also to their parents. To continue the exploration, let's add another attribute, in this case the ever smoker attribute. And let's put it on the top. That attribute is basically a division by deciles of the different counties in the country, dividing them by how many people have answered yes to the question, have you ever smoked? Basically, the analysts in the Lung Cancer Institute, or the National Cancer Institute, wanted to see how this attribute correlated with the number of deaths. So to emphasize a little bit more the changes, let's add a fourth square scale for the height, so we can emphasize the smaller changes. By doing that, we will see the 10 deciles in which the counties are grouped. Basically, the idea is that if we follow each one of them and see the different timelines, we can do this by hovering over the timelines. We see that the first decile, we get a nice effect in which that it's with the lowest death rate, and then following to the next deciles, second decile, the third decile, and so on and so forth, showing that there's a nice correlation between the number of people that have ever smoked in the county and the death rate for those same counties. TreeVersity gave us also some extra information, but allowing us to move to the next years and then explore year by year what are the things that have changed significantly. So if we go back, for instance, to 1999 to 2000, we see that there are some big decreases in some of the timelines in here. And we can see actually those timelines being highlighted, for instance, in this case, that are, if we go and see the details,